You know that feeling, right? You have these huge, incredible dreams. You can see the person you want to be so clearly. But when it's actually time to do the work, you just freeze. Nothing happens. Well, if that sounds even a little bit familiar, I want you to know you are not alone. And more importantly, this isn't some personal flaw. It's actually a conflict happening deep inside your brain. So let's break down what's really going on.
Yeah, this. This right here is the heart of the whole problem. You're full of amazing ideas, but you feel completely stuck in place. And you just know you're capable of so much more, but getting started feels impossible. It can feel really isolating, but trust me, it is an incredibly common experience.
Okay, so first things first, let's actually diagnose the problem. We're going to walk through this frustrating loop, this cycle that keeps so many brilliant, ambitious people from ever making real progress. Take a look and see if this daily routine sounds a little too familiar. It always starts out so well, doesn't it? You wake up, okay, today is the day. But then you just check your phone for a second, and suddenly that second turns into an hour. Before you know it, the best part of your day is just gone. So you tell yourself that classic line, okay, you know what, I'll just start fresh tomorrow. Then comes the worst part, lying in bed at night, feeling that wave of guilt and disappointment, promising yourself that tomorrow will finally be different. And then you do it all over again.
So that's the what. Now let's get into the why. And this is so important. This is not about a lack of willpower. What's actually happening is a kind of neurological civil war, a battle that's going on right inside your own mind.
See, you've basically got two different brains competing for control. There's your ambitious brain. That's the part of you that sets those big goals, the part that dreams. But then there's your survival brain, and its only job is to seek comfort, avoid danger, and find easy pleasure. The problem, right now, your survival brain is winning, big time. This is the key to everything. When you think about that big, important project, your survival brain literally flags it as a threat. Why? Because it involves effort, uncertainty, and maybe even failure. So it offers you a super easy escape hatch. Scroll on social media, watch another video. You get a nice, easy little hit of dopamine, the uncomfortable feeling goes away, and your brain learns a really dangerous lesson. Avoiding my goals feels good. So please, if you only take one thing away from this, let it be this. You are not lazy. This isn't a character flaw. What you're experiencing is your brain's ancient, hardwired survival system getting confused in the modern world. It's just a pattern. And the best news about a pattern is that it can be recognized and it can be rewritten. But hold on, there's another sneaky culprit at play here. It's one that often hides in plain sight, and it even tries to convince you it's a good thing. Let's talk about the role perfectionism plays in all this. We tell ourselves we're just setting high standards, right? We're waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect moment, that perfect burst of inspiration. But let's be honest, what we're really doing is giving ourselves the perfect excuse to never start. Because if you never start, well, you can never fail. And this really reframes the whole thing. We think failure is the opposite of success, but it's not. Inaction is. When you try something and you fail, you get feedback, you get data, you learn, you grow. But when you do nothing at all you get is stagnation and a whole lot of regret. So this is a moment for a little bit of tough love. A little honest self-reflection. Ask yourself, are you really waiting to get it perfect? Or are you just afraid to get it wrong? Because the answer to that question, well, it changes everything. All right, we've diagnosed the cycle. We've uncovered the hidden fears. Now it's time for the most important part, the good stuff. Let's get into a practical toolkit you can use to finally break free and actually start moving. Here it is, the first and most important rule. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Motivation isn't a cause, it's an effect. It's a fickle feeling that comes and goes. You cannot build a life on it. Real discipline isn't something you have, it's something you build, one tiny action at a time, especially on the days you don't feel like it. So how do you do that? How do you start? You start ridiculously small. Don't try to conquer the world in one day. Just commit to this number. 15. 15 minutes. That is it. Write for 15 minutes, tidy for 15 minutes, work on that project for just 15 minutes. The goal here isn't to finish. The goal is just to start, to build the muscle of consistency. This right here, this is your new system. First, choose consistency over intensity. A little bit every single day beats a heroic effort once a month. Second, you have to accept imperfection. Your first draft, your first workout, your first attempt at anything will probably be bad. And that is perfectly okay. And finally, practice self-compassion. Look, you're gonna mess up. When you do, forgive yourself and just restart. Guilt is the fuel for procrastination, not progress. Okay, time for the next hard truth. Your willpower is like a phone battery. It's a finite resource. And if you spend all day fighting off distractions, you're gonna be drained by noon. Here's the secret. Successful people don't have more willpower, they just have better systems. They literally design their environment to make focus the easiest option. And you can do this right now. It's not complicated. Put your phone in another room. Turn off notifications. Clean your desk. Block off one sacred hour on your calendar. Close all those useless browser tabs. Every single distraction you remove makes it that much easier to do the actual work. And one final warning. Please, please beware of this trap. It's called productive procrastination. Consuming content about success, reading articles, watching videos, it feels like you're making progress, but you're not. It's just a more sophisticated way of avoiding the work. You don't need more information. You need to shift from consuming to executing. One small, messy, imperfect action is worth more than 100 hours of research. When it all boils down, this is really what it's about. You can spend your entire life perfecting the plan, creating the perfect vision board, waiting for the stars to align, but a plan is just a fantasy without action. It's time to stop planning and start living. And these are the two pillars that are going to hold everything up for you. You need that ambition and that discipline to act even when it's uncomfortable. But you also need the self-compassion to forgive yourself when you stumble, so you have the strength to get back up and try again. One without the other is completely unsustainable. So we end with a question for you. Not for tomorrow, not for when you feel ready, but for right now, the second this is over. What is the one tiny 15-minute action you will take to move yourself forward? Decide on it right now, because that single step taken today is how your entire future begins.